It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up!
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. This is Ears Up Podcast, and I got a new mixer.
Yay.
I'm really excited about it.
This is good. This is good news. This is because of Patreon.
That's correct.
Our friends, our Patreon friends.
Our lovely Patreon supporters. This is what happens when you support Ears Up, man. We get a new mixer, and then now I can actually talk into the microphone and turn everybody up at the same time.
It's very exciting.
And fade things down very nicely.
He's going to turn us off so much more.
Oh, for sure.
I can fade them right back up very smoothly.
Had you already turned us off?
Or I can bring it right back down. It's a whole thing. I got a whole thing right now. So anyway, thank you very much, you lovely, lovely Patreon people. This is the first step in Ears Up 2.0.
Ears up like 18.7. I don't know.
Something
Whatever.
like that. That was good, Taryn. You tried, and I love it. I love it.
But I didn't try confidently, which is the problem. I needed to really just drive it home, and I instead petered out, which is pretty much generally what happens.
It
Whatever.
happens. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Taryn. You did great.
Great.
What's our show today?
Disney Easter eggs.
Disney Easter eggs.
This is this show is Bev's brainchild. I love it.
It is. It's a little scary.
All right.
Better be good.
Yeah, so we're talking about Disney Easter eggs that are in Disney films.
In Disney films,
correct?
yes.
Well, I guess cartoons.
Specifically,
Yeah.
I went. Excuse me. I went through Disney theatrical animated releases, animated only, and I started with the most recent, which would be the most recently released one would be Moana, and I went back and I'm covering 20 films. I figured 20 was a nice round number, didn't involve too much jumping around, and if we wanted to continue to do this, we had a good starting point.
Awesome.
I think so, too.
We knew where to start and where to end.
And then, Taryn, you are going to cover some park stuff, too, correct?
Yeah. When I heard this idea, it got me really excited, and so I was like, there's a few of those things in the park, and so I tried to do my best to find some, and Terrence helped me out, and so this should be good.
Yeah, Terrence is not here, although he might stroll in later. Oh, you know what I did?
What?
Well, anyway, I just remembered what I screwed up. Terrence will be in shortly, but I had told our special guest host that I would call him to start the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't do it.
Oh,
and so now he's probably sitting there throwing bottle caps at the screen.
Because he's in the chat too, so he
Yeah.
knows. He's
Oh,
like,
he
wow,
totally
they
knows,
actually
for sure.
they hate me.
Yeah,
In his brain, he's cutting you.
fooled you.
Oh.
Jeremy, my dear friend.
Oh, it's my dearest friends.
Hi, Jeremy.
What's going on, guys?
Just hanging out, man. Forgetting about you.
I know. Sorry.
If it makes you feel any better, he
I'm gonna
forgets
type
about
in the
me all the
thing.
time.
I was like, hey.
If it makes you feel better, we kind of forgot that Terrence wasn't here for a minute, so it's not just
I know.
you.
I was like, they're not going to address the empty chair.
No, we're not going to do it. I don't know. Things are a little chaotic here, but anyway, so I invited Jeremy to sit with us, not only to do a lovely Spectro radio set, if you will, piece, but to just kind of be Terrence, yet more likable.
I hate DCA.
Wow. Good job. But do you
Soren
like churros?
sucks.
Yeah. So far, you're the better Terrence,
yeah. For sure.
and I'm sure Terrence would even agree with us. He might come in later on in the show. He had some kid thing to do or something. I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, so we are Terrence-less today, but not information-less, if you will.
Good job.
That's right.
Thank you.
That was
good.
spectacular.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, you can find us on iTunes, tune in, blah, 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 all this stuff. You know where to find us. But rate us on iTunes. I
Yeah.
still want to... You know what I want is someone from iTunes to be like, hey, you know what? I've heard you had a lot of questions. Here's what it does for you. Or, hey, you got a lot of ratings, so here's $100. Or I don't know. I want something to come out of it, but...
Well, I think originally you get on their hot podcast list or something,
I
but
don't think we've ever been on that list.
no. I'm almost certain we haven't. But
That's okay.
You never know.
That's true. You
Just-
don't ever
just
know.
Keep trying. Just keep chugging up that hill.
We do have a
The
couple.
other day I was actually searching for the Shanghai Disneyland soundtrack, and
Yeah.
I was searching under. I was supposed to be searching under music, but I didn't realize I was in the podcast section. I typed in Shanghai Disneyland. You guys were one of the top 3 hits.
Huh, that's cool.
Well, that's good.
If you're
made
searching
it.
for that specific term, that's great for us.
Yeah, Shanghai Disneyland music or something, and then
Yeah.
you guys came up.
Awesome.
I wonder what else we're top 3 on. Probably, if you look up churro.
You don't want to know.
Oh, that's probably true.
My God, speaking of churros, God, we have so much to talk about right now. We are no longer allowed to sell our churro T-shirt design on TeePublic. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Disney apparently hit TeePublic with like a giant, not DMS because that's beer stuff, but like basically just a very generic, hey, take all the things down. And we fell under that umbrella, obviously. And
Rude.
so that
Yeah.
kind of stinks for us. But oddly enough, our turkey leg shirts are still up, and we sold one the other day. So,
That's good.
keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen of Ears Up Podcast, we have turkey leg shirts over on TeePublic. That's right, tpublic.com/ears up.
Well, the good news is that everybody that has a churro shirt from TeePublic, they now have a collector's item.
Limited edition.
Limited edition, that's right. We do have men's sizes over on getcovers.com, but and they're cheaper and they're better quality. But anyways,
Did they give you a reason? Disney doesn't own churros. Like that's something that that's like saying they trademarked donut.
no, they don't own churros, but I think it's just their Disney IP. I think what they do is they just throw a net out there and see what they can get taken down, and then it's up to me to challenge that. But I don't know how.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it can fall under parody, so I think it would be covered. But I'm waiting for my trademark guy to get back to me. But he's taking his sweet time. I don't know. So he's a busy guy, I'm sure. So anyway, I want to fight it because I want to get the shirt back up because I don't think that it's actually infringing on Disney IP. But whatever. I think for lawyers, you're like, well, we're going to write this letter once. We might as well send it out 2,000 times.
Right.
So I don't know. It's weird, man. It's definitely weird, and I kind of felt cool and official for a second there. I was like, "Huh, we got noticed." That's just great.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about getting noticed.
I wish they would just notice Coviers. That would,
Yeah.
that'd be even better.
I want them to notice it with several zeros, Taryn.
We should respond to their letter and send them the Get Coviers website and be like, hey, they're on this website too. Hey, check out this website.
This might be something you should buy.
Yeah, this might be something that's infringing that you should just buy instead. I don't know.
It'd be amazing.
That would never happen.
Anyway, we're on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Any feedback on the show goes to Taryn at earsup-podcast.com. Compliments goes to Terrence. You can say hi to Bev. And anything else comes to me, Jason. It's all under earsup-podcast.com. We do have some exciting news, though. You guys remember Kanye, my nephew, Anthony?
Yes.
Who comes on not very frequently. I think like twice, maybe 3 times to talk
I
about.
do.
But he is memorable.
He is memorable.
It's a vivid memory.
Right, yeah. To talk about what's happening in the Marvel universe of things, because that's Disney IP now, and I think it's important to keep up with that. Well, I've been talking to him about doing his own show about Marvel and Star Wars because he's a super nerd.
Are you sure it was your idea and not his?
It was oddly enough, it was my idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like something he would come up with.
Yeah, it does, right?
For real, though.
So later this month, they're going to do their first show. They don't have a name yet, but I'm excited to be able.
they?
Him and some friends, I don't know. Apparently, he's like, oh yeah, so Alexandra or whatever, I don't know the person's name. They're going to be they're going to talk about Star Wars fan theories and whatever. It's like super nerdy, like dialed in kind of stuff, right? That I think would
That's
be
cool.
good crossover and also a great umbrella to catch other people that don't know about us but are into Star Wars and Marvel. And I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I'm trying to like talk to him about how to do a show or make sure that they know how to speak in the microphone. They're like, yeah, well, he's like, when she does her YouTube channel, I'm like, oh, so these are like people who are content creators already. Yeah. And then this other guy, he gets like, pre-release toys and has a whole YouTube channel on like, I'm like, oh, you gotta,
It's very Kanye to
you
make
gotta
you
lead with all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Because I just think there's some geek off the street.
Yeah.
Like
coming
us.
in. Yeah, like,
much like
you
us.
guys. Yeah. So anyway, so look for that here in the coming months. I'm a professional, Beverly. I don't know if you know this or not about me.
I work with you. I know just how professional you can be.
That's true. So we are bringing you some good stuff, and it is all because of you guys supporting us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/earsup and join us, please. That would be great. You can also support us via our Amazon link.
Amlink.
Amlink.com.
Yeah. Go to our website, earsuphappenpodcast.com, and hit the Amazon link on the right page. Bookmark that and do all your Amazon shopping from that. That also helps us get microphones and all this kind of stuff. Go to Coveyears, getcoveyears.com. Support our friends. They're all on the page. I'm tired of talking right now. Already. I know. I feel like it's just same
Blah,
repetitive.
blah, blah.
Like everyone's
like,
going like
the-
scroll through.
The adults from Charlie Brown.
Wah,
Wah, wah, wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. I feel like that sometimes. But what is very important to understand is that there are still tickets for our 100th show. I think there's about 10 left or so. Come see us at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen in downtown Disneyland, November 11th of this year. Tickets are $50 for adults and a lot less for kids. You get a cool gift bag just for showing up, plus a little bit of food and a ticket to a really cool raffle, which we're building prizes. So you remember Lynn and I forget homeboy's name from the Sweep Spot podcast. They
Sure
were
do.
the custodian
Yeah.
dudes. They sent us 3 autographed books.
Awesome.
And that,
Wow.
yes, I know, right? That's going to be part of our raffle. We have a couple other guests
I
sending
keep-
in books.
Meaning to read that book.
It's a great book.
I know it is.
So we're building a lot of cool stuff. So the raffle is going to be great. And you guys, so once you come in, you buy your ticket, whatever, you come into the thing, you hang out, you get 1 ticket for free for the raffle, and you can, of course, buy extra raffle tickets because that's what we do. Jeremy, our good friend Jeremy here, Spare Terrence, will be there.
Spare
I
time.
will.
Auxiliary Terrence.
Yes, from Spectra Radio, of course. Some past guests, and it's going to be great. So go to Brown.
We're gonna do some games too.
We're going to do some games, yeah. Go to brownpapertickets.com and search for us, Ears Up Podcast. And that's it. Please join us. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a hoot.
Only 10 left. They're going fast.
Hoot
I think it's
nanny.
about 10. It could be 100. I don't really
It's
remember.
not 100.
No. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. We've sold about 30 or so, and there's room for about maybe 36. I forget. Anyway, yeah, come down, join us, please. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a great time. Taryn, do we have feedback, please?
Yes, we do.
Okay, feedback us.
All right. First one today is from Sarah. Hi, all. I'd been listening to your podcast about Walt Disney World. I think she is confused. I just realized that. For the past year. And
I think it's muscle memory.
probably,
for
yeah.
some people.
Yeah. And they were great. But I wanted to get in touch with. Oh, I see. Sorry. Let me start over.
Okay.
Hi, all. I'd been listening to podcasts about Walt Disney World for the past year, and they were great.
Okay.
But I wanted to get in touch with the park of my youth. You do a great job of covering Disneyland and its history. I live in Massachusetts, so the last time I was in Cali, DCA did not exist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Number 1, topic for research. Roy after Walt. I know Roy came out of retirement after Walt's death, but it would be interesting to hear what he worked on at Walt Disney World and outside of that before his own death. Interesting idea.
Yeah.
I like it. Number 2, Coveyears. So I had no idea this is how it was spelled based on listening. I thought you were saying cub, like C-U-B ears. Which was also kind of cute and made sense. Coveyears makes complete sense now that I see it. Any chance of Alice in Wonderland nods in Coveyears, like a purple and pink stripe? Thanks for all your hard work. Well,
That's good.
yes.
That's a good email.
I mean, I think that, yes, definitely there is a chance for purple and pink stripe Coveyears. We're kind of working on being able to do any sort of
Customary.
yeah,
situation.
anything that you can do. The problem
Thanks,
is
Beth.
like the
Anytime. I got you.
we're just having a small problem with the seam because of the way that we print on them.
Yeah.
So once we can work that out, we'll.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, if you want some custom Coveyears, I'll give it to you for free. Email me.
There you go.
Jason at earsup-podcast.com. And
That's quite a business model.
it's pretty good, right?
That's why we're so successful.
I'm trying to work it out. It might be a little bit, imperfect, but I want to try with other people's photos and text and other ideas. So this one will be something that we could try. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
We'll
so-
number them. They'll be original.
Yeah, Sarah, write into us and we'll do it for you and send you a free pair.
Yeah.
Next one is from Beth. It's called Churro Challenge and Failure.
Aww. And also probably good.
Well, probably. I finally got to go to Disneyland. Listening to your show really prepared me for an enjoyable trip. I took my Main Street fanny pack, Cove ears, and churro shirt.
Wow. Yes. Our number one fan here, everybody.
Seriously,
Thank you
I don't
very
even
much.
go that decked out.
That's amazing.
I would, but I can't wear those hats, man. They're too
Yeah.
small. Can't do it.
I just wanted you guys to know how many compliments I got on the shirt. Unfortunately, I was unable to finish pulling a Terrence as I couldn't find a churro shirt in
Churro
cart.
shirt.
Churro cart.
Churro cart. Okay.
In Toontown or Adventureland.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to go back someday and try again. The next one is from Tara. Hi, I started listening to your podcast a few weeks ago and I'm enjoying it very much. Thanks for all the great info and honest criticism of all things Disneyland. I'm planning a trip for the 3rd week of June for our family of 6. Me, my husband, and 4 kids, 18, 16, 11, and 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Took a little break there in the
Took a
middle.
little bit of
That's
break.
good. It's healthy.
I haven't booked anything yet, but my options are quickly shrinking as time's getting short.
Yeah.
My question number 1. How bad is parking at Disneyland really? The general consensus around the Disneyland message board universe is that under no circumstances should you drive to the park.
that sounds like forum speak.
I know, that's
for sure.
ridiculous. But stay within
gonna weigh
walking
in on
distance instead. I've stayed across the street 3 times and still found all the walking to be quite a chore at the end of the day. I've also used ART, A-R-T, while staying at that's
the
their
bus.
Best Western Inn and Suites, and found it to be unreliable and usually full by the time it reached us. $5 a person times 6 people is more than $20 parking. Getting to the park early before rope drop is priority number 1 for me, so hopefully arriving early enough to get to the parking structure will translate into less waiting time getting into the lot. Question 2. The dates we visit the parks will probably be June 19th, 20, and 21. The 19th and 20th are the last 2 days for SoCal annual pass holders. So how much do you think that will affect crowd levels? Disneyland is always crowded, but I've read that the late evenings stay crowded on those nights before the AP blackouts. Any thoughts? Thanks a bunch and keep up the awesome podcast.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Bev, what do you
So I'm going to
wanna
weigh
say
in on the
about that?
parking because I've always been like, yeah, just stay farther away, save money, and drive in until I was there this past Saturday. And from the time we drove into the park to park our vehicle to the time we made it into the park, we spent 1 hour. It was 1 hour. It took 20 minutes to get in, pay for our parking, and park. And then we didn't even take the tram. We walked. But let's say from the time we started driving in to the time we were actually inside Disneyland was 1 hour.
Wow.
It was heinous. It was also grad night and Saturday, which is
Okay.
super, super heinous. But
Did you go in the early morning?
it was park opened at 9, or maybe it opened at. I think it opened at 9. We were pulling into the parking garage at 8.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucked.
That's good for her to know then. And then the second part of her question about the crowd levels for the SoCal passes. Unfortunately, yeah, I think that those are going to be 2
They're
really
gonna be
busy
packed.
days, especially the 20th, the last day. I would say, most people that have that SoCal pass are going to take their last trip.
Like it's my last chance.
They may only be there for an hour or 2, but they're going to get in that park at some point. I mean, I wouldn't let it scare you away. There's always things that you can do outside of like that kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It's tough to be a bug. Nobody's going to ever be at that. So
No.
that's something you can do.
and it's
if
actually
you,
pretty entertaining.
right. I really like it. So there are things that you can do.
And the little hidden area where the Monsters Inc. ride is, I don't think I've ever waited long for that ride.
yeah. So there's a few things that you can do to kind of
Stock up on
preoccupy yourself.
fast passes.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
But yeah, be prepared.
Oh yeah, it's going to be crowded.
Yeah.
Especially just June in general is going to be a little tough, but I'm sure you're still going to have a great time.
Agreed.
And that's feedback.
Okay. Wonderful. Let's see. I do have. Well, I think it might be time for. Let's do this. See if I can do this.
Join us as we unravel the magic behind some of Disney's most beloved pieces of music. It's Spectro time.
This magic night, a million stars will play beside beside us cast a spell of light, glimmering, shimmering, carouseling round the world tonight.
Jeremy,
So good. It's so good. It's so good.
how you doing, my friend? It's been a long time, I think, since we've seen you, or at least spoken to you, because we've never actually seen
A
you.
very long time since we've seen you.
Yeah, but how you doing?
Very long time. I'm pretty great. I mean, I'm a little misty-eyed here tonight. I have to tell you why.
Okay.
Oh.
Because tonight is the last night in Disney World of their nighttime spectacular Wishes, which has
Okay.
been running since 2003.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they don't change it up very often down there. So this is like big, and they're getting a new one tomorrow night. So yeah, it's kind of an emotional evening to say goodbye.
Wow. Yeah, we were listening before the show, of course, as we always do, and you were playing Wishes. Is that a timely thing? Is that when it was happening, kind of right now? Or not
Like
right now,
most
but-
things in my life, it was a complete accident.
Well, you know what? Fair enough, man. That's what
But a
life is
happy
for.
one.
There you go. That's a good
Yeah.
way to look at it. What are we going to talk about today, my friend?
We're going back in time, even before Disneyland.
You all right?
And
Oh.
can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, we had a little robotic choke there, probably on my end. So sorry about that.
Oh, okay. We're going back in time before Disneyland opened to a time in the 1940s to talk about a group called the Firehouse 5+2. Do you guys know who that is?
Yes.
We do, yeah.
Oh,
And
good. Okay, good.
oddly
for
enough,
those who do,
that's
What?
my fact of the show is on
Oh.
that group. So this is timely. We like share the same Disney brain for some
Another
time.
But it is
Amazing
also a total accident.
Sorry, go ahead, man.
Well, for those who don't know, the Firehouse 5+2 is a popular Dixieland jazz band that was active from 1949 to 1972. And you might wonder why we're going to talk about jazz band. What does this have to do with Disney? Well, the Firehouse 5+2 was made up of a group of animators, writers, and other Imagineers from the Walt Disney Studios back in the 40s, led by band leader and trombonist Ward Kimball. And we know Ward Kimball because he was one of Disney's lead animators, and he formed the group known as Disney's Nine Old Men. Or he was part of the Nine Old Men.
That's correct.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I was waiting for you, and I was like, "Yeah, maybe he's waiting
wasn't a
for us."
Ghostmobile.
Yeah, okay, no. Nine Old Men, yes, sir.
Okay, so this group got started in the early 40s when this group of Disney employees would gather together every day during lunch in Ward Kimball's office to listen to old jazz records, just to hang out during their lunchtime. And they would listen to jazz records by artists such as Louis Armstrong and also Jelly Roll Morton. Number one.
Love it.
Do you really love it?
Oh, I actually really do. Like, I would sit and eat dinner listening to that. I think it's
But
really
not
nice.
lunch, because that would be
No.
uncalled for.
It's interesting because the song's called Big Fat Ham.
Perfect.
She eat a big fat ham for dinner.
That is called Big Fat Ham, and it is from Jelly Roll Morton's 1923 self-titled album. And I really wanted to play you something that was from, the audio quality on it is not that great, but I wanted to play something from before the 1940s because that increases the likelihood that maybe those same Imagineers one day in Ward Kimball's office actually heard that track. So that's why
Yeah.
I picked that one.
That's a good one.
It's also called Ham, and Taryn likes to eat and listen to music, so it just all worked out.
Right.
It's perfect.
Well, most of these jazz-loving Disney workers had played musical instruments when they were in high school. And one day, they got the idea to bring in their old instruments and play along with the records during lunch. I tried this at my office last week. It didn't work. Well, one day the record player broke in the middle of a song, but they kept on playing and they realized that they didn't sound too bad even without the record accompaniment. And so they kept on playing. They originally titled themselves the Huggy 8, and then they called themselves the
terrible
San
name.
Gabriel Valley Blue Blowers.
Okay.
Also a terrible name.
During this time, they were requested to play for dances and parties in the surrounding area. But one day, the band was asked to drive down to San Diego to play at the Horseless Carriage Club's auto tour. But there was one rule, and that was that none of the vehicles at the Horseless Carriage could be newer than 1914.
Okay.
So Ward Kimball, being very inventive and ingenious, found and restored a vintage 1914 fire truck for the group to drive down in.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
Hey, if you have a problem, throw a bunch of money at it.
I know. It's so easy to
And time.
solve problems when you're rich.
yeah.
Well, just driving down in a fire truck was not going to be enough. An Imagineer knows if you're going to drive down in a fire truck, you need to be in firemen's uniforms.
Naturally.
Jeez.
But modern day firemen's uniforms aren't going to work. These things have to be consistent. So he put an ad in firemen's magazines searching for authentic turn of the century uniforms.
Wow.
So now all the pieces were in place. They had a truck, they had turn of the century firemen's uniforms, and they were ready to drive down to San Francisco as the Firehouse 5 plus 2.
That's awesome. Why did they?
I'm sure they
do,
would-
do you have any idea why they called it the Firehouse 5 plus 2? Is that just a kitschy thing?
Well, I read that they actually added the plus 2 so that when they were if they were going to be hired, or people would know that they were getting a 7-piece ensemble. And Firehouse 7 just doesn't sound as good.
Oh, well, you're right.
People like alliteration.
So they added that. Well, so that was like kind of their first debut, but the band was really truly discovered by Les Koenig, who worked at the time for Paramount Studio and was a huge jazz fan himself. He heard the band playing for a high school dance and asked them if they'd like to make records. Their first record album debuted in 1949, called The Firehouse 5 plus 2 Story. Take a listen, number 2.
Pretty good for a bunch of old dudes. No.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
The only reason that I picked this music was because I was sick of Jason rapping over everything else I play. Gambino.
Yes. Oh, man. I pushed wrong buttons, Jeremy. I'm sorry.
What?
I pushed a bunch of wrong buttons, and so like half of your, whatever you said after they played cut off. I'm still getting used to this stupid thing.
Okay, well, let's just
Anyway,
keep going.
we'll move on. I'll cut this out. We'll fix it in post. That sounds
band was-
good. That sounded cool.
Yeah, I like it. So the 3 tracks you just heard were Firehouse Stomp, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, and the 12th Street Rag. And I'll just say, I love any piece of music that starts off with da-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty much,
you-
yeah.
You know you're in for a good song.
Right, absolutely.
And if you're Taryn, a good meal.
Exactly.
The band was proud of their Good Time sound, which is what they actually ended up calling their record label, Good Time Jazz. And they became an overnight sensation following the release of that first album. The 1950s came and saw the band playing concerts, dances, weddings, parades, and more throughout the West. The 1955 opening of Disneyland presented a new opportunity for the group as the band was made up of some of Walt Disney's best animators. Walt liked them and invited them to play in Disneyland on opening day in 1955. They appeared on ABC's opening day coverage, playing in front of the Firehouse in Times Square, in the opening day parade, and at the now extinct Plantation House restaurant in Frontierland number 3.
For you, and standing right here behind me is probably the most famous little Dixieland band in the world. The Firehouse 5 plus 2, and they're in exactly the right place because New Orleans is the spot where this beat was born. The Barrel House, the blues. So take it away, Firehouse 5. Burn it up, boys.
They tore it up, dude.
I love that these are like Disney.
I do really love it.
Yeah, like not only are they great storytellers and animators, but they can rip a clarinet to shreds. You know what I mean?
Amazing.
Or probably not a clarinet, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, right? Jeremy, help me out. Clarinet?
That was a clarinet.
There we go.
Well, there was a trombone in there too, but yeah, there's a lot of clarinet.
Yeah. See?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah. Disneyland was a perfect setting for the happy brand of jazz for which the group was quickly becoming known. They eventually played summer Disney's Golden Horseshoe Saloon for 15 years in a row. The music of these performances was captured live at the Golden Horseshoe for one of the band's later albums, The Firehouse 5 plus 2 at Disneyland. That album was their first in-person recording and is great because it has everything from Ward Kimball's announcements, the jokes he cracked, some response from the audience, and even a clunk at the end of the track, Anvil star Eddie Forrest accidentally dropping the anvil on his foot.
Oh, God.
This album includes such tracks as Anvil Stomp, Lass's Trombone, and one of their signature tracks, Tiger Rag, number 4.
Come on.
We're going to start the evening off with a little culture here at the Golden Horseshoe.
Right?
That's my jam.
Talk about ripping a clarinet to shreds.
Hey, you like that? I just made that up. Or you just made that up.
No, you said it.
No, you did. You just made that up.
Okay. In the beginning, when Ward Kimball was saying he's going to bring a little culture to the Golden Horseshoe,
yeah,
that's because the first song in that is called Anvil Stomp, which is a Firehouse 5 zany take on Verdi's Anvil chorus from Il Trovatore, which, if you'd like to hear it, is number 5.
I thought it sounded familiar, and I was like, "What is that?"
That is definitely not what I expected.
No, not at all.
They sure put their own spin on it. And the second song, just as a little tidbit, was called Lasses Trombone. And a version of Lasses Trombone by Albert White and his Gaslight Orchestra was actually used, if you were paying attention, in the 1976 to 1991 Main Street USA area music.
Who wasn't paying attention to that?
You were all taking notes.
That's right.
The band was also invited to perform on the original Mickey Mouse Club's Anything Can Happen Day and performed 2 songs, I Want to Be a Fireman and Tiger Rag. Take a listen, number 6.
And now Firehouse 5 plus 2 plus the Musketeers present I Want to Be a Fireman.
I love the way it started.
Because the group was made up largely of animators who were used to sound effects in their work, you can hear that they aren't afraid to incorporate non-traditional instruments and sounds into their music, giving it a very unique and playful sound. You frequently hear sirens, bells, and whistles in their music. They are also notable for having brought back the washboard.
Oh.
There was a time when playing the washboard was very common in Dixieland jazz groups, but they had grown increasingly more rare throughout the years. Ward Kimball brought back the washboard to popularity in the Firehouse 5, and you can hear him playing it in several tracks, such as here, Coney Island Washboard, number 7.
Zany times.
It's zany, it's kooky. On November 17th, 1971, the Firehouse 5 plus 2 played its last gig at a car show at the Anaheim Convention Center. Ward Kimball was one consistent member of the band throughout the years. Kimball was once quoted as saying, "Don't get the idea from all this that this is a one-man affair. The band exists as a unit, and no one man is any more important than the other one." It's easy to forget that these band members had day jobs. They worked for Disney. So members of the band through the years were responsible for animating legendary Disney characters such as Jiminy Cricket, supplying sound effects to a number of Disney movies, and designing things such as the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and also Main Street USA itself.
That is pretty cool, man. That's what we were saying a little bit ago. It's nice to I don't know, to see the other side of talent, if you know what I mean, like what people do for fun that are super talented like that have kind of built the company essentially.
I think it shows what it takes to embody an Imagineer also. Like, these aren't one-trick ponies. These are like Renaissance men.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Their producer, Les Koenig, said of the band, not having to play for money, they were free to play what they liked. They liked jazz, they liked to play it, and played to please themselves. Ward Kimball once said of the band that they never had practice or rehearsals. They just got together as a group and had fun. Through the years, the band appeared in many places. They appeared on a float in the 66th Rose Bowl Parade. They played at Bing Crosby golf tournaments and appeared on TV shows such as Lawrence Welk and the Mickey Mouse Club. There was a nod to the band in the 2009 Disney animated feature, The Princess and the Frog, with Gator belonging to a jazz band at the end of the film called The Firefly 5 plus Lou, number 8.
You're killing me, Jeremy. That was my fact of the show, Jeremy. God, Jeremy ruined 2 bits on our show in one fell swoop.
You're the worst Terrence. No, actually.
But he's the most accurate Terrence ever.
Oh.
Up next, I'll be talking about Easter eggs.
Is that it?
New York Times
No,
critic.
it's not it.
No, there's a little bit more here.
Okay, go for it.
Talk about killing it. This is my big wrap up.
No.
New York Times critic John S. Wilson summed up the group perfectly, describing the band as, quote, just happy, an enviable condition for anything. And that is the Firehouse 5.
Nice.
If you're interested in hearing more Firehouse 5 plus 2, most of their albums are available on iTunes, or you can hear versions of the Firehouse 5 ripped from their original vinyl albums on Spectro Radio.
Nice.
Which can be heard at spectroradio.us.
.us. Very good, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. I enjoy Dixieland Jazz.
Yeah, me too. I think it's really fun.
It really makes me happy.
Cool. Good times. I think we might be having a mic issue.
Having problems.
We're having issues. New board. Things happen.
I hear you guys all much better now. You were pretty quiet for a minute.
Got it. Okay. That's good.
And this is where I'm glad I have a hat on because my head would explode
It's
normally.
holding it together.
Yeah, it's catching all my brains from exploding because I don't know if it's like recording properly into the recorder or not. So whatever. We're just gonna move on and if you know
Are we gonna have to do this whole show tomorrow?
we might have
Oh my
to.
gosh. Let's hope so.
Yes. It could only be better because this, to be honest with you, this show's not going very well.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about, thank you, Jeremy, for sure.
Not your part. Your part was great.
No, your part was
As
great.
always.
Oh, thank you.
You did
My
good.
pleasure.
You did good, my son.
You're welcome, Father.
Bev, let's talk Easter eggs of Disney films, dude.
Okay. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
talk about it.
Go for it.
Are we talking about what we are considering an Easter egg?
Yeah, so thank you very much. Let's bring up
Smart.
what we consider an Easter egg because even this might shock some of you listeners, but even internally, we were unclear as to what an Easter egg actually is.
Yes.
So I think what we came up with was various versions of this and apparently on other websites, people don't know what an Easter egg is.
Well, that's also true.
So what we're calling an Easter egg is something that is kind of like a hidden shout out to something else that's not related to the actual thing,
Yes.
right? Not like what were some of the Easter eggs that weren't really Easter eggs that you
Like
found
the
online?
No, you go ahead.
Like at Disneyland, like the crest above the on the castle, the Disney crest on the castle. That's a cool detail of the park, but it's not an Easter egg.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, and something like things that I'm not going to be covering, which may or may not be considered Easter eggs, but like for example, if Jeremy Anderson is the producer of some film, and in that film they decided to make the town Andersonville,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be addressing that
Okay.
because I don't care,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure nobody else does.
That might
I mean,
be
you
an
might.
Easter
You
egg,
just-
but like nobody really.
But it's
that's
not.
weird.
It's not an Easter egg that we will be covering. I tried my hardest to stick to other film references, other Disney film references within Disney films.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Make sense?
Sure.
Okay. And what I think I mentioned this when we started, but I'll mention it again. I took the last 20 films, the last 20 animated theatrical releases, and I'm gonna run through them.
Okay.
I found 1 to 2 for. Well, I tried to find 1 to 2 for each film.
Okay.
Some of them didn't have any.
I'm sure whatever you did was great.
It's probably fine.
And it will be great.
It's fine. Okay, so let's get started.
All right.
And if you guys know of any that I don't mention that you think are really cool, please feel free to jump in and join. So we will start with Pocahontas.
Okay.
I got nothing. Literally nothing. There are
None?
no hidden Mickeys in that movie.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird.
It was so bizarre.
Huh.
And I mean, I searched hard.
Interesting.
Found nothing.
Weird. I did like that movie though.
I love that movie. And the music.
It doesn't get
so
a
good.
whole lot of like fun at Disneyland or
No.
anything. No. There's,
Pocahontas
like,
gets no play.
no play.
That's
Forgot.
very strange.
Hercules. Have you guys all seen Hercules?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Fail. Oh, it's a cross the board failure. Okay.
Never seen Hercules.
So I'm not going to go into details as to what the film of Hercules is about. I'm fairly certain you can figure it out. But throughout the movie, there are these muses that kind of follow Hercules around, and they're kind of like his backup singers. And so they're telling his story or telling parts of his story. through song. And there's this one particular part where they're singing a song called I Won't Say I'm in Love. They're all seen as busts. And one even has a broken head that's laying to the side, and it's mimicking the busts from the Haunted Mansion ride.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's very nice. See, that's an Easter egg.
That's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Perfect.
From the movie Mulan, another movie I love. No play at Disneyland.
Haven't seen it.
You're the worst. Let me also just say
Yeah,
that
I've never seen Mulan.
this time frame that I'm
Never
working
cared.
with here, it's rough. Like, I think I started in like 1996. So 1996 to about 2003, it was interesting time for Disney films.
Tough times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mulan, this one is not a Easter egg per se. It's a hidden Mickey in the film.
Oh,
So
that's
in the
cool.
scene at the end, spoiler alert, Mulan is just honored as a hero, and she's riding her horse down the stairs from the Emperor's palace.
Seems entirely inappropriate.
Well, girl got to get home.
I guess.
And he gives her the crest of China. They're legit. They're friends. It's cool.
All right.
Anyway, the cement guardrail or banister, whatever you want to call it, has hidden Mickeys sort of carved into it. And I will say that I have the amount of YouTube I've watched in the last 2-3 days. I purchased 2 films to confirm things because I couldn't find them on YouTube.
Oh,
I went
geez.
all out.
Wow, you really went.
What did you
for
buy?
it.
What movie did you buy?
Oh my gosh, like the worst. One movie I'd never heard of called Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, I've heard of it, but I have no clue what that's about.
Okay.
It actually looks like it might not be that awful.
All right.
And
You hope.
I bought The Princess and the Frog.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen
Because
that either.
what I wanted, no, I hadn't either. And what I wanted to confirm, I couldn't find. So I was like, I'll buy this.
There you go.
In Tarzan, we've all seen Tarzan.
Never seen it.
You guys suck.
Oh, that's actually one of my favorite Disney movies ever.
Okay, so you know the part where they're trashing the camp scene?
Yes.
And they show Mrs. Potts and Chip.
Yep.
Yep. So Mrs. Potts and Chip make an appearance in a part. Oh, is it the apes? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the
apes are trashing the explorers' campground, and you see a nice little tea set, and it's Mrs. Potts and Chip.
Well, and I'm going to just jump in because it makes sense to talk about it at this moment. But
Absolutely.
in Tarzan's treehouse in Disneyland, you can also see Chip and
Oh, really?
yeah, and Mrs. Potts in the kitchen scene.
Mhm, at the end, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like somewhere towards the end.
Oh, I would never know that because I've never climbed that tree because ain't nobody trying to do that.
Because it's having to do things.
because it's a tree.
All right.
And this is another one from Tarzan. When Jane's father is being held upside down by the apes and they're kind of checking him out, a little figure of a dog falls out of his pocket, and that is Little Brother from Mulan. Little Brother is Mulan's dog. Again,
Okay.
you wouldn't know that.
I wouldn't know that. No.
I'm looking at you, and you're looking at me like, what
Yeah.
in the world
Eyes
is she
glazed
talking
over.
about?
And, well, and I think
cool.
this it's another reason why the show's good and needed, because there are weird people like me who haven't seen a lot of these mid 90s, early 2000s era Disneyland stuff
Wow.
or Disney stuff.
I'm gonna jump to an excellent film here.
Okay.
2, in fact.
Okay.
The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Nothing.
Me neither.
Nothing?
Nothing. I found nothing. So,
All right.
listeners, feel free. If you know things that I couldn't find, write in. Make me go. Please don't make me go to the
What is it?
the studio. The
Oh, the press
news-
conference?
Don't make me have
The
a press
press room?
conference. I'll be like, she wrong. But I really did try. I tried my best.
Okay.
Atlantis, the Lost Empire. How many
Nope.
of you have seen that?
No one. No one's seen that.
I've seen that. It's
Before this?
not good. Yes, before this.
Oh, wow.
It's a very odd film, and again, it's not the kind of movie you would expect to find a hidden Mickey in or an Easter egg. Like it's very dark and very kind of unusual.
Okay.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Lilo and Stitch.
Okay.
There's a part where Lilo is looking out the window when Stitch crashes. She's looking to see his crash, and right in the background, underneath an easel, you can see a Dumbo doll in a box.
Oh.
I
That's
like
nice.
those.
Yeah, I love those things. Cool.
Treasure Planet.
Never seen it.
This
Never
was-
heard of it.
Never
This
yet.
was a
Never heard of it.
This was a weird time for Disney.
Yeah. Maybe you
Wow.
mean Pizza Planet from Toy Story? Because that
No.
I can get behind. But
Pizza.
Treasure Planet.
No, I did not include any Pixar films in this.
Okay.
It's a whole nother animal.
All right.
Stitch makes an appearance in this film. It occurs at the beginning. when the main character is a young boy and his mom is reading him a book in bed. Right after this, there's a book. You see a bookshelf in the background, and Stitch is one of the toys sitting on it.
Oh, that's cute.
Brother Bear? Anybody?
Oh, I've heard of it. No, it's on Netflix. I've seen it before.
Yes.
It looks really boring.
It's not that interesting. I mean, it's actually kind of interesting.
Just the cover. I was
Whatever.
like, nah, pass.
Okay.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah?
I don't. Yeah.
I've never seen it. But I feel like I have to now. I feel like I have to watch all of these movies now just to get the...
I just want you to watch Treasure Planet, Atlantis, and just call me after you watch them and just be like... And we can just have one of our gab sessions where we just like rip things to shreds.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder if I need that... if I need more ammo of things not to like.
Probably
Just
not.
in general.
You might love it. I don't know.
Well, there are weird things that you like
Yeah.
The Love Guru.
Love Guru's a movie for
never
me.
seen
and
The Love
amazing.
Guru.
You really should.
Don't watch it
The
here.
Love Guru?
Yeah, for real.
Jeremy, the Love
Like
Guru.
it's that movie that you watch with somebody.
Oh,
and
Jeremy knows.
And they love it so much that they say every line, so you never actually see the movie.
Yeah.
That's the Love Guru. In this house.
That experience is also similar to watching Cable Guy with me.
Honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sam.
I never saw it.
Do you know, I don't think
See,
I've ever
it's
watched
okay.
good movies with you. I feel one of the first times I was ever here,
Yeah.
you were watching Snakes on a Plane.
Oh, jeez.
That's right. Well, and I bought that movie on DVD because I'm like, I never, but sight unseen. Because I'm like, there's no way that this movie could be terrible. Because it's called Snakes
were
on a
wrong.
Plane. No, and if you remember, they had a really great grassroots marketing where you can call up and leave your friend's phone number, and Samuel L. Jackson will call that person and yell at them about Snakes on a Plane, and like you
I
can
do
kind of.
remember.
So he recorded like several kind of different options about what to talk about, like I heard you like. Vespas. Well, get the blue Vespa out of the garage and get the snakes off the plane. And I was like, this is the best. This is great. And I didn't have any friends for it to call, but it called me, and that was cool. And I bought it, and it's a good movie.
I
I
have not seen it. That's weird.
wonder why. I don't even
Why
know
do you
where it is
even own
anymore.
it?
Okay, so back to
I mean, I
Brother
know
Bear.
what you just explained, but
Thank you. Back to Brother Bear. Yes.
Brother Bear.
There's a part where some people, I wrote humans, I guess because the whole premise of the movie is about bears, but
Okay.
some humans are in a stream and they're catching fish with their net. They're trying to catch salmon, and if you pause it, when a bunch of the fish are jumping out of the water, you see little Nemo in there too.
How
Oh,
sad.
that's nice.
Poor little Nemo
Poor
getting caught in
Nemo.
another net.
Yeah. See, and I think they should make another movie about that era of Nemo, where he's hanging out with the salmon.
You do not want another
Hanging out
Nemo
in the
movie.
freshwater.
Yeah, somehow a
Trust me.
saltwater, fish.
That's already in production.
Next film going down the line is Home on the Range, purchased by Beverly Moore today.
The only person who's ever purchased that movie.
Home on the Range. Okay.
Actually,
like
no,
we
I lied.
owe
I
her
did not
money.
have to watch this movie. I did not have to purchase this movie because it was available via my Amazon Stars subscription.
Oh, that's good.
But I was about to buy it.
Okay. All right.
At 24 minutes, I even wrote down the time. At 24 minutes into this movie, there's a part where Buck and Rico ride off, and the cows are tied up to the covered wagon. And there's a character named Grace who's singing "Home on the Range," and this is not a Easter egg. It's a hidden Mickey.
Okay.
But there's a very clear part when the clouds and the horizon kind of change, and the sun and two clouds form a hidden Mickey in the sky.
That's an Easter egg. I would call that an Easter egg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
Okay. Chicken Little.
Okay.
Nothing.
Never seen it.
Nothing.
Never seen it.
Nada.
I have seen that one.
I mean, I'm familiar with it. I know it exists in the pantheon of great movies, but
Yeah.
never seen it.
Meet the Robinsons.
Oh, geez.
Guess who owns that? This movie actually looks pretty good.
Okay.
There's a part where a character named Goob is catching Goob. G-O-O-B. That's how I would say it.
All right.
He's making a catch in a baseball game. It's the winning catch. When he looks down and he sees the ball in his hand in the background,
Yeah.
you see a poster, like a mural painted for Toy Story over to the right, and then to the left is the Jungle Book.
Oh, that's
cute.
And they're
nice.
just in the background. You
cool.
would never notice if you weren't looking looking
Cool.
for them, but they're
Yeah.
there.
If you were focused on the sports ball moment,
Yeah.
you would miss them.
Totally miss it because there's
Right.
there's also other posters in the background that has the team name on it.
Oh, okay.
So it's very camouflaged.
Okay.
Bolt. Nothing.
Never seen that either.
Never- no, I've
but
never
About
seen
the
Bolt.
dog, right?
It is about a dog.
But I
Yeah.
think that was like one of the more well-received Disney films of the time.
I think so. I mean, I've heard of Bolt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people seem to think it's.
I think
really
it wasn't
cute,
my
I
jam,
think.
but
I mean, it's about a dog.
yeah. The Princess and the Frog.
Sure.
I watched this today with
Okay.
Abby
Oh.
since I now own it. There's a part in the very beginning when Tiana's mom, I think her mom is the nanny in the film.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
I've never
Her
seen
mom
it.
is the nanny for the little rich girl. Anyway,
And Peter Pan?
no. Shh, just be quiet. Anyway, her mom is reading the two little girls a story.
Okay.
And as the camera sort of pans in, you can see the pumpkin coach from Cinderella. And it's
Oh,
on the
cool.
ground as a toy.
Oh, that's
That's
cute.
cute.
It's not like the real thing, but it's a little
Right.
toy replica.
That's nice.
Entangled, which I hope we've all seen.
Yes, I have
Oh,
seen Tangled.
Wait, have I seen Tangled?
I
I
think
may
you-
have.
I think you've seen
That's the
Tangled.
Rapunzel one with
Yes.
the dude and the horse?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen
And
that.
there's
So-
a little frog.
I love this movie. I really
Okay.
do. It's one of my favorites. So there's the part in the Snuggly Duckling, which is the bar where the
Okay.
ruffians are singing. The camera pans through. There's this part where there's this creepy little man who's dressed as Cupid. They
Okay.
like fling him around the room because he's tied with it's a whole thing.
All right.
Anyway, the camera follows him as he's flying around the room as Cupid, and as it does that, you can see a little Pinocchio up in the rafters.
Oh,
I like it.
Wreck-It Ralph, a movie that is apparently loaded with Easter eggs.
They're not
Or
Easter eggs.
quote unquote Easter
Yes.
eggs.
They're just literal. They're not even references.
reference.
They're just they're characters of other
like
video
Sonic
games.
is in the film and
Yeah.
Hubert.
Yeah.
But
no,
these
no.
are all things that were listed as Easter eggs, and I was like, no.
No, Cubert is
You're
not
wrong.
an Easter egg. He's a character in the
Yeah.
movie.
Well, there is an actual Easter egg in this movie.
Okay.
Tiny the Tyrannosaurus from Meet the Robinsons makes an appearance in he's just walking around through the background in Grand Central. Do they call it Grand Central Station?
I think so. I don't remember. I've seen the movie. I loved the movie. It was great.
Yeah.
I don't remember all
no,
the
I love
things.
the movie.
Yeah.
I think it was whatever. It was the part where all the plugs meet.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the Grand Central Station. Sure.
Okay.
We'll call it that. In Frozen.
oh,
Never seen it.
Everyone's favorite movie.
I saw that
You've
terrible
seen it.
bootleg copy of
Yeah,
it.
you've seen them.
Yeah. Well, there was only really one that I could find. It's pretty obvious. It's the one where Rapunzel and Flynn are walking in to the they're walking into the castle when the doors are open. Where what's her bucket singing? I got a dream. I don't know what she's
Okay.
singing, but she's singing a song, and you can see them walking in.
All right.
But did you guys hear about the fan? I don't know if it was confirmed, like if the fan theory
Uh-huh.
that the girls, the Frozen girls' parents are Tarzan's
Yeah,
parents
I've heard
also.
that.
I think so. Yeah. I think we may have talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you guys are getting deep with it. Is that what Kanye is going to cover? Like fan theories like that? Like
I don't know about, but who's to say? I don't know, but like Star Wars stuff, I think, yeah, but
Okay.
definitely not Frozen. That's for sure, yeah.
Big Hero 6.
I liked that movie a
That's
lot.
a good movie.
I've not seen that movie.
Oh my lord!
But I did see this.
Music is amazing.
I was able to research this, so I know that it's true. The character Honey Lemon, there's a part where she takes a picture, and her cell phone case is Nick Wilde from Zootopia, who is the fox.
Ah. Okay.
And also, there's a part where they're in a police station in that movie,
Okay,
and Hans from Frozen is on a wanted poster in the
yes,
background.
I
I
remember
think
seeing
I remember
that.
seeing that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not lying. That's our
Yeah,
first
I'm not
confirmation.
lying,
Yeah.
Definitely not lying on
Look,
that one.
I know I'm not lying. In Zootopia, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Not just favorite movie, this is one of my favorite Easter eggs.
Okay.
So there's this part where, and I can't remember her name. The little bunny.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I haven't seen it.
Hopperson.
Sure, whatever.
Hopperson.
The little bunny cop and Nick Wilde, they go to this guy, and she's like trying to get information from him, and she's like, look, Wesselton, and he's like, it's Weaselton, Duke Weaselton. Now, rewind a little bit. The Duke from Frozen, they kept referring to as Duke Weaselton, and he was like, it's Wesselton.
Oh.
Cute.
You would only know that if you've seen that movie 643,000 times.
You're
But anyway,
probably right.
So he's Duke Weaselton is selling movies on the corner.
Okay.
As they're trying to get information from him, he's like, "Can I help? You want to buy a movie? I got movies." And it pans down to the movies that he's selling. Pig, P-I-G, Hero 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Wrangles,
Okay.
which is the horse from Tangled.
Okay.
With a huge golden mane. Wreck-It Rhino.
All right.
And then he references movies not yet released. And then it shows Meowana, which is a cat Moana.
Oh.
Very cute.
That's awesome.
And then my final movie is Moana, which is the most recent one. There are a lot of Aladdin references in this movie. And I think that has something to do, I think the directors are the same.
Okay. Which
but-
feels weird, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, you may also know me from directing Aladdin. I'm going to remind you 5 times.
Yeah, well, so there's a part, and I've actually never seen this movie straight through. I've seen the beginning, and then I went and did some things, and then I came back, and I watched the second half at a different day. So there's a part where Maui, is that his name?
I think that's the big guy.
The big guy, The Rock. He's standing on a giant pile of golden seashells.
Okay.
And treasure and whatever. And mixed in with that, you will, if you look really closely, you see the magic lamp from Aladdin.
Okay.
And then there is another part where Moana's walking, and in the background you see them shaking out a rug, and that is the magic carpet from Aladdin.
Oh, same one and same design, all that.
Yeah, well, it's different. It's a different color. It's more of a brown color, but
Okay.
the design is the same. And then there are other
that's cool.
carpets throughout the movie, same sort of material that it's like brown, but one of them has. Now, what were they saying? The only one I can think of right off the top of my head, because I didn't make a note of it, was the ice monster from Frozen. His face is on one of the carpets, and then there's a couple
Okay.
other ones that they show, but I can't think of what they are. But
Okay.
Okay.
of our 20 films, that's what I got.
Nice.
Perfect.
Those are some pretty good ones, actually.
Yeah.
That
I
was
like it.
great.
I hope, I'm going to call this a success. If everybody listening to it comes away at least learning one thing from one movie that they didn't know about.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's your thing.
yeah, I definitely
Okay.
learned at least a couple.
And I nailed it.
Great.
Nailed it.
All right, Jeremy, what
I
do you
have a
have for us?
question.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Jeremy. Jeremy
Was
Terrence.
did you pick this like time period because like are there Easter eggs in other like eras, or is this kind of like a modern day thing?
No, there's certainly more. In fact, I think in some of the other films, like in Aladdin and in Beauty and the Beast, I know specifically of other Easter eggs. I think I just chose 20 movies, and I just thought it would be easiest to start here. This was just
okay.
my starting point.
So is this the beginning of a series?
It very well could be. Who knows? I didn't do any Pixar either because, like I said, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, there's
thing.
always Easter eggs in Pixar movies,
And
which is
they're
cool.
and they're very nichey. They're like specific to
Yeah.
Pixar. That pizza bus is in every movie.
Yeah.
All right, Taryn, what do you have for us?
All right, I've got some Disneyland ones for you guys to look out to and impress your friends. Some of these you've already heard if you're an avid listener, but we're gonna go over them again. So in and around Disneyland, you'll see the Little Man of Disneyland, which we've talked about before. He's a character from the Little Golden Books about a leprechaun who wasn't happy about Disneyland being built on
Yes.
his land, and so Walt Disney, throughout the story, figures out a way to placate this little guy, and he agrees to let him live inside the park after it's built, and he can now be found outside of Indiana Jones, like right before you get in the line. Over to the right, there's kind of like rocks and trees and things, and if you look pretty closely, you'll see a little door, and that's supposedly the Little Man of Disneyland's house.
Yes.
Next up, in Toontown, there is a pumpkin in Goofy's Jack-o'-lantern patch. He's wearing very large glasses, and this is meant to be Disney's former executive vice president of marketing and entertainment, Jack Lindquist. And if you Google image search, Jack Lindquist pumpkin and Jack Lindquist, you can see that is definitely true.
Right. They both have big glasses.
Big glasses, big old round, cute face.
Yeah.
Next up is Tarzan's treehouse. As I said before, Mrs. Potts and Chip are in the kitchen area. Also, Jabba the Hutt is at the base of Tarzan's treehouse. If you are headed towards, say, New Orleans Square, and you're going over the bridge. Right before you get over the bridge, there, if you look to your right, there is a portion of the tree that looks identical to Jabba the Hutt. Also, the phonograph in Tarzan's treehouse is playing the song Swiss Kapolka. It's playing very quietly, but this is the theme song for the old Swiss Family Robinson treehouse.
Okay, gotta love that.
Gotta love that. Moving on to the Haunted Mansion. Most people already know this, but the organ in the ballroom scene is the original organ from 2000 Leagues Under the Sea.
I did not know that.
No?
No.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. We taught Bev something.
There you go.
Done.
I even learned something. I didn't even have to buy a movie.
There you go. See, I took the easier route. Also in the Haunted Mansion, every year in the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay, if you look hard enough in the attic scene, you will find a framed velvet Elvis portrait, and it's hidden differently every year in a different place. And so I can't tell you where it's going to be, but take a look for it.
I've seen it once.
Yeah.
I've seen it once.
Usually in the attic scene on the left-hand side is usually where it is.
And you usually kind of have to turn around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be sitting on the appropriate side of your buggy or you'll miss it. Yeah.
Right.
It's the whole thing.
In the Winnie the Pooh ride, Max, Buff, and Melvin from the former Country Bear Jamboree are now in that ride. So when you're entering Winnie the Pooh's kind of honeypot nightmare dream, if you turn around and look up behind you, you will see them in their absolute exact form.
They're there.
They're there.
Yeah.
In the Little Mermaid ride, Mr. Limpet is there. And for those of you who don't know, Mr. Limpet is a movie about a man named Henry Limpet, played by Don Knotts, who turns into a talking fish and helps the U.S. Navy locate and destroy Nazi submarines. So he can be found at the part.
Go ahead. Keep
Okay,
going.
sorry.
Yeah.
He can be found at the part where Ariel and, of course, her hair are dancing and turning around.
Stop, please. Terrence, stop calling. We're actually in the middle of the show, in case you couldn't hear. God.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Good thing that hat's
Just
on.
start over again, please.
Okay, so in the Little Mermaid ride, you can find Mr. Limpet. Mr. Limpet is a movie about a man named Harry Limpet, who is played by Don Knotts, and he turns into a talking fish that helps the U.S. Navy locate and destroy Nazi submarines. So while you're on the ride, at the part where Ariel is dancing, kind of, and her hair is dancing more specifically, if you turn around slightly, you'll see him. He's sitting there. He's kind of this blue fish with a giant mouth, and he's got teeth. That's kind of the distinctive part, and glasses.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only seen him one time. You have to kind of be strategic about finding him.
Yeah.
Because it gets dark back there.
Yeah. He's definitely hidden. So now we're getting into some of the ones that you may not know about. I got this one directly from a former Imagineer friend of ours, so I know that it's true.
Okay.
This one's a little bit difficult to see, but Thunder Mountain Railroad, when you're on the ride, there's a very distinctive tower of rocks, I guess you could say. It's kind of like a mountain, but it's a tower of rocks, and that is actually the Imagineers that created that based it on an old cartoon about Pluto herding sheep, and you can YouTube the cartoon. It's called Pluto: The Legend of Coyote Rock, and at about 7:06 in that, you see what they exactly modeled it after. And so if you kind of like Google image search them side by side, you can see it. It's these are Imagineers. They're like no, it's right there.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how you don't see it.
Weren't you told to use your imagination?
Yeah, I was told
Yeah.
I was told at first oh yeah, no, it's use your imagination. And then as the Imagineer I was talking to looked it up, he responded and went, "Oh no, actually it's right there. It's super obvious." And I looked and I was like,
Okay.
and that's when I realized I'm not an Imagineer. But go ahead and do them side by side. Maybe we'll try and put the image on the blog.
Sure.
But that one's pretty cool, actually. So that was 7:06 on Pluto: The Legend of Coyote Mountain. Pirates of the Caribbean. This one's awesome. There is a Lego minifigure of Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean. It's always there.
It's the first I've heard of it. Now,
Yes.
the only thing I've ever heard of is the we've covered on the show the lightsaber in
and I
the
try to
treasure
find
room.
that stinking thing every time.
It's so hard to see.
Yeah, I couldn't see it, so I don't know if it's still there or not. But last time we went, and I was looking and
well, and they
looking.
put them the thing that used to hold all the swords that used to be in the center is now
Yeah.
like up into the
Yeah.
up into the left.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's much harder to see.
Yeah, but so I had not heard of this one either, and this also came directly from a former Imagineer,
Okay.
and not that I didn't trust the person, but I was like, I need to see a picture of this. So I actually did find a YouTube video that shows it clear as day. In this particular video, it was from 2014, and it was at the very end of the ride where Jack Sparrow's sitting with all the coins and stuff.
Okay.
And there's a chest sitting next to him, and on that was on top of that chest, clear as day, tiny little figure.
Huh.
What I did find out, though, when trying to confirm if it's still there, is that, yes, it is still in the ride, but they move it.
Oh, those
So-
jerks.
So look for it. I can't tell you where it's going to be because I have no idea, but that's a fun little game.
Yeah.
Ride it 17 times to try and find that stupid little thing. Another cool one, Small World has a couple actually. On top of the Eiffel Tower in Small World, there's a doll wearing a yellow flowery poncho, and this is actually modeled after Mary Blair, who designed the ride. And then
I think that's nice.
yeah, I think that's nice as well. One of my favorites, actually, of this whole thing is that also on Small World, at the very end, when you're leaving and you're seeing all the postcards and says adios and arrivederci and all that stuff, there's one little card that has, it's like a little sailing ship
It's a stamp.
Oh, you're right. It is.
It's a stamp.
It's a stamp. And it has a lot of children's faces on them, and they're just very simply drawn 2 eyes and a mouth. But then in the background of these, there's one that has a little curly Q in his hair, and it's Charlie Brown.
Huh.
And I never.
Very strange for non-Disney
Charlie
IP.
Brown.
And it's very clear.
It's very clearly Charlie Brown. It's very cute. So look out for that. And then on Main Street, Mrs. Tilly, she is the mannequin who sits at the Main Street Cinema. Her cast member name badge says that she is from Marceline, Missouri, which of course is where Walt Disney lived as a child. Also on Main Street, I just found this one out. I'm excited to see it in person. The fortune teller Esmeralda at the Penny Arcade, her deck of cards that she's reading from.
Tarot cards or whatever.
Yeah, they the images on them are all the Haunted Mansion stretching portraits.
That's a good one.
Really?
Yeah, and they're kind of like sort of black and whitish, and like they look all
Faded
kind of
out.
disheveled.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's one of those things where you don't know. On first glance, you probably won't even recognize it.
No.
Totally.
That's
It's
super cool.
Very cool. And then just a couple of more. Space Mountain, the number 77 appears multiple times in the queue for Space Mountain, specifically looking on the doors and things like that. This is an homage to the year that the ride opened. And also in the queue, as you're walking through the corridors while you're standing in line, if you look on one of the kind of like door-looking things that don't really open, one of them reads Bay 12 Command Module, and then underneath in small letters you see Captain J. Hench, and this is for John Hench, the ride's designer and Disney legend. Lastly, on Star Tours, if you listen very carefully as you stand in line for that ride, you're going to hear people being paged over the loudspeaker. One person you're going to hear is Igroig Sakul, and that's George Lucas spelled backwards.
Okay.
And then another one
They were really trying on that one.
Yeah, they tried real hard. But this one's even better. You may also hear Mott Warham, which is Tom Morrow spelled backwards, which is tomorrow. And Tom Morrow was the previous host of Innoventions.
Okay.
So those are just a few of the Disneyland Easter eggs.
Very good.
There we go.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's great. I didn't know about those.
Little hidden stuff, little hidden gems. That's what we do here, Jeremy. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I was not aware.
Ladies, you did a great job.
Thanks.
You're very
Thanks.
welcome. Normally we would do Disney news, but I don't have any.
That's fine.
So we're not going to... I mean, I do have some, like there's blogs about Pandora World opening now in Disney World or whatever, but I don't know. I kind of don't care, I guess. But one thing I did want to bring up. So we've talked to the Van Eaton Gallery before, I think last year or something like that. And there's a news article now in the New York Post. Walt Disney's original Disneyland map could sell for $1 million.
Wow.
So if you remember, Taryn, I think you were talking about the history of the Disney World, Disneyland place or whatever. You talked about like the weekend that Walt and Roy, I think, spent like hand drawing the Disney map or whatever, right, for investors. That's the map that's going on sale.
That's worth $1 million.
Right.
I can see that.
It's the first ever map of Disneyland. It's a 3.5 feet by 5.5 feet trifold hand-drawn poster created by Walt Disney in 1 week. Features the first at the name of which had their entirely Tomorrowland themed land quotes. Really themed originally Marvel